Hello, Facebook. Okay, this is Jamie Cesara here. This is my first Transformation Tuesdays, okay, where every week I'm going to be um, inviting a special guest. And so give me a second. So Amanda Rose is going to be coming on. And here we go. Sorry, doing this part is always the tricky part, right? I'm still new to it, so give me a moment. I press the same thing. There we go. Shoot. All right, so as you're coming on, say hello. Just give me a moment. I'm gonna wait a second. Amanda is coming on. Hi. Thank you for coming on. So, all right, here we go. Let me get her on. Let's see. It says it's adding. Okay. Yay.
Sorry, give me 1 sec. I'm trying to set this.
No
It is not
problem.
one for church.
Okay. It just makes
I'll
me
figure it
so
out.
excited that it works because every time I do this, I get like, okay, are they going to get on? Like, or am I not going to press the right button? So while Amanda's getting set up, I'm just going to give you a little background as to how we met. I don't even know. Was it like probably at the start of March? So I'm part of a purpose-driven business, and within that group coaching, Paige and Monique, brought on. Let's see what happened there. Okay, we lost her for a second. She's coming back. So in that, there you go.
Me off. Sorry.
Oh, did I do that? Sorry.
I don't
Okay.
know. It was like,
Okay.
thanks for joining. And I was like, I don't know what happened.
All right, you're back. That's what matters. I'm not going to touch anything else. So, anyway, so you came in as a published author just as at like the just right time when it was my sole goal to write a book. So it was like divine timing that I would be like, yes, thank you. Absolutely, I'm going to sign up for your course. And I just have to say, so to anyone that's listening, and I posted this earlier, if you have it in your soul, if it's like tugging at you, like I want to write a book, or you just, it keeps coming up, but you just don't know what to do and it seems so overwhelming. Your course was really, it was phenomenal. Like you gave so much content and information and literally for every step of the way that I would have no idea how to do any of that. And I mean, my only thing is that like I want my book written so I can just do all those things. So thank you for coming on, and I'll let you introduce yourself, but I appreciate your time, and everybody's going to get a lot of really good content from you tonight, so thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. This is so much fun to come on and talk about this. And I love that you brought that up too. It's like, okay, well, I've got this goal to write a book, and like, even if I can figure out that, what do I do with it when it's done? And yeah, that's that's the tricky part. And I really feel like writing the book is the really fun part. I love the marketing now, but when I got started, I didn't have any help. There was no course
Mhm.
out there that like I could find that was like this one. So it was like stumbling through the dark, trying to figure out what to do, and doing a lot of stuff that didn't work. Some of it cost a lot of money and didn't work, and that kind of sucked. So I love the fact that I mean, putting this out there, I know that not only is it going to make it quicker to get it out, it's going to save people a lot of money from falling in the pitfalls that I went through. So yeah.
So can I ask, so all right, you do more than one thing. So you've written and published multiple books and also different genres, which is cool that it's not just the nonfiction like the mindset and whatnot. You also do fiction as well. So how long ago, like when did you become a writer? How long, have you been writing? And then so I don't even know that. I'd love to know that.
That's a good question. I feel like writing was always something I really enjoyed. I was one of those kids who even in kindergarten I was like, oh, give me the kindergarten books, I want to read them. I just really enjoyed literature. Um, and then growing up, it was just something really natural to. I loved English class, and getting to write short stories or poetry or anything like that was really exciting. I still hate essays like everybody else. I'm human. But
Yes.
yeah, it was always a passion. So I got into doing short story contests in high school, and I actually wrote my first book when I was 16. And to date,
Mm.
it's still my first book. It's so funny how much energy we have as teenagers to get things done. So yeah, it's something that's always been a really big goal, and it's really funny because that book, I mean, I wrote it so long ago, and it just sat on my computer year after year after year. And then 14 years went by, and I went, oh my gosh, like, do something with this. It's just painful to see it there. And that got me into, okay, like, do a final edit. And while you're doing that, figure out what the hell you need to do to get this out in the world. And that led to, I did talk to other authors and I did some research, and the publishing world is so different now. 10 years ago, self-publishing, it was like, oh, you couldn't get an agent. Oh, that sucks. Like it was like this pity party. But it's not that way anymore. Self-publishing is a third of the market. And with 3 million new books approximately coming out every year, that's pretty substantial that we got a million self-published books coming out every year. Um, so there's credibility there at this point. We can get in for book signings, we can get our books into stores. With Amazon and these big online giants, we've got widespread distribution. So really, sky's the limit with that, and I think that's something that's really exciting. um, I realize I'm spiraling on a tangent here, but
No, it's
it all links together.
no, it's important because I really think that is, that is a common theme of what people think. So last summer, I mean, I've been wanting to write a book for 5 years now, right? And so last summer, I finally was like, okay, I'm going to look at everything that I typed, all of my journals, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have the content for a book. And I just kind of put it all together. But at the time, I was, well, I really didn't start writing it. So I decided I was going to, but so I met with people. So I was like, all right, let me meet with people that I knew were authors. They wrote children's books, and both of them said the same thing. They spent a lot of time and money, and they partnered with, like, they wish they didn't do it the way that they did it, was because they partnered with a publishing company that raped them basically and took so much money, and then they didn't actually own the rights to their book, and then they just kept having, so basically they didn't really make any money, and they really had to put, you know what I mean, it was just it was kind of upsetting because they had this vision for their book, and then it just didn't, and then so I kind of stopped there. And then I mean, I knew, so I feel like it was good timing, you know what I mean, that you came in and whatnot. Oh,
Well,
okay.
and I love that you brought that up with their story, because I feel like I've heard that story just from different perspectives and different people over and over and over again. And it's a little alarming. I mean, the way that things are now, because we live in a world where small companies are popping up all over the place, and overnighters and all this kind of stuff. There's so many small mom and pop publishing companies out there, and they don't do what you hope they do, which is marketing. That's what everybody I talk to, they're like, no, 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 I want them to handle it. Well, they don't. I'm sorry to
Yeah.
say. So when I really thought about it, I'm like, okay, if I went with a publisher, like one of these middle or small guys, if I go with one of them, they get creative control, they get the
Mhm.
rights, they're going to set, they're going to get to pick the title, pick the cover, they're going to have their editor do the final thing. It won't be my final say. So my baby in this world, my brainchild, is going to be sort of what I want it to be. And then they're going to stick their hand in the cookie pot, but leave all the marketing in my lap. So what the hell do I need them for? And that's where I was like, you know what? I can figure out the marketing, and I'm going to have to do that anyways. And I'd rather have the
Mhm.
creative control over it. So it was, you know, you make much more money in the long run going that route. And as for the big publishing companies, because I know I'm sure there's people on here going like, what about HarperCollins and all of these big guys? Um, and I always say shoot for the moon. Like, you know, there's nothing wrong with that, but they don't accept unsolicited manuscripts anymore. So you'd need to find a literary agent, and they are inundated with requests at this point. Like, there's so many people who want to do this. Um, so I mean, you're going to spend years trying to get a literary agent, and then when you finally land a literary agent, they're going to spend years trying to get it into the big publishing houses. So it's a really, like, you know, 10 years later you might get a deal, and if you do, then you've got to pay like 20% to your literary agent and whatever percentage to the big publishing company. So you might get 10 cents a buck. So what's the point? Like at that point I'm like, I can make so much more money and reach so much more people getting it out there on my own. And I think the other thing that's really important, and I know we discussed this in the course, but for everybody else to know, is you're not exclusive when you go with self-publishing. I mean, always read the contracts, because there's a lot of companies out there that do it, but like for Amazon, for example, it's non-exclusive. So if a publishing company goes, hey, we love your book, we want to pick it up, you can do that. You've got the freedom. So you're not
Mhm.
locked in. It's just get your work out there now. And it's actually easier to get picked up by a publishing company then. So yeah, there's that tangent.
Awesome. That's it's great advice. And what was I looking for? Um, what was I just gonna say? So this is what I want to ask. So, okay, you learned that you did all, you know, you made a lot of mistakes yourself, all right? And in turn, you decide that, you know what, I'm going to make a course for other people to learn how to do what you did, right? Um, but before you go into that, what sets you apart that from someone different? And because I also noticed, so I didn't know that you were very mindset oriented, but you are, just by seeing your, well, from what your books are that you wrote. Like when I signed up for the course, I didn't know all the books that you had written. I think, let me see, is it right here? Yes, it is. So I got this one, Manifesting on Purpose. And it's so crazy because, like, at this time, I was doing all this manifestation and all this mindset work. And I'm like so in the flow and in the zone. It's like amazing. So I want you to talk about this, of how, because I know it's a huge part of why you're successful. I'm pretty sure it is.
And I love that. I was actually thinking about that ironically before we got on this call. I'm like, we're both like writers. We're both like so law of attraction and mindset oriented. Like, what a perfect melding of energies. I was really excited to get on here with you tonight.
Yes,
And
I love it.
it's so interesting, especially that book in particular, because that was the very first book I published. Um,
Mm.
and it was literally like, that was the book that I published as I don't care if this goes anywhere. I just want to see what the process is. Like, I didn't care. And
Mm.
it's funny because it's a bestseller to this day. Like, it's crazy.
Wow.
Life is like this. And yeah, it's one of those ones where I don't even have to try and sell it. It just kind of sells. It's crazy. Um, but that book was originally a course that I'd made last winter, that I
Yeah.
ran for a few months. Um,
Yeah.
and then
So,
manifesting on purpose came out of that, because I took the course material, I changed it a little bit for the book, just for formatting, and of course, instead of like talking to people and certain things that you can do in a group situation, making it book appropriate. And I went, well, let's see what happens. And it was interesting because it took off really quickly. And that gave me a lot of confidence moving forward with my other work, especially like the book I'd written when I was 16, which meant so much to me. Not to say Manifesting on Purpose doesn't, but it wasn't a book originally, it was a course. So it was just kind of like a trial project, funny enough. Um, but this is the way law of attraction works, I find. And
mhm.
we see different things happen for a reason. So I put that out there and gave me the confidence to do the rest of it. And then the course, the book course, um, it was something that I never planned on. And then, funny enough, I mean, I started posting about my books, and people were like on my timeline, like, I've always wanted to write a book. And I'm like, I never thought you wanted to write a book. What? And then I'm like, half of my friends list wants to write a book. Okay,
Mm.
clearly there's a market here. These people could learn from me instead of spending all this money and making all of these mistakes that they don't have to make. Um, and that's kind of where the brainchild of putting that course together came from. And since then, it's been so big. Like people have been so interested in having this layout to go through, because the only programs I see out there for authors are like on the writing creative process. And don't get
Mm-hmm.
me wrong, that's so important. Like your product needs to be good. It really does. It needs to be great. But what do you do after that? Like, and there's so much to the rest of it. And you can have the best book in the world, but if you can't market it, nobody's going to read it. And I think if we go
Mm-hmm.
and think of even like Harry Potter writer J.K. Rowling, I mean, she got her, first Harry Potter book out and it didn't do like, great for a while. It took like 10 years for it to really pick up. So, there's a lot of stick to it, all this kind of stuff that's a part of that. And that's where the mindset comes in, and where the mindset's so important. Um, I know I even mentioned in the course, as we were talking in there, when you get into other author groups, like on Facebook and social media, you got to watch what energies you pick up on, because there are so many like, oh, I sold 5 books this month. Yeah, being a writer's like a broke joke, and all these people like that. And you gotta like, I mean, I at this point, I'm just like, if I see any of that, I almost laugh, because I'm like, you just change your mindset, buddy. You'll get it one day. But you really have to have that mindset of like, this will be successful, and the
Mm-hmm.
opportunities present themselves. And it's so funny how like things you don't expect happen, and then offers come in that you never expected. You never know when,
Mm-hmm.
oh, your book sales are good, and then a publishing company contacts you, or like a foreign rights company, whatever the case may be. Or, oh, hey, maybe I should look into getting into one of those monthly shipment boxes. Like maybe I can do a big order with one of them. Or just have like being creative with it and thinking outside of the box, because there's so many different options for marketing that's unique. And it's just pick up on those cues from the universe and go with the flow, and things happen. So I think that's pretty exciting. Not to mention social media marketing. I mean, there's so many different ways we can reach our audience, without traditional routes anymore. I mean, I still love going into a bookstore, but when I think about it, I still order most of my books on Amazon at this point. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I know it's changed so much. So I don't know if you know this, but I'm actually a media specialist. So I'm a librarian by day. So like, and it's funny, I just met with people and they're talking about digital librarian and, ebooks. And I said, like, while I love ebooks, actually, to be honest, I don't love ebooks. I like Audible books. I would rather listen, but I need to hold a book in my hand. Okay. I will never say, like, for kids, I feel kids, it's just different. It's different to like hold a book in your hand. So I really hope that never goes away. But I will say this, something that you taught and what I have found has made a big difference in just the, with the mindset and whatnot, and specifically to writing, is like just being in the flow. So, absolutely staying away from like anybody negative, because what happens is when you decide you're going to write a book, then of course, I'm like, oh, you're going to write a book? Like, what do you have to say? You know what I mean? So, like, well, we just want to forget those people because they're not your support system. However, there's always going to be like, when you take the action and you're working from that soul level, things just flow to you. You're doing the do. So you're not like worried. And I think that's what happens to most people. You get caught in your head and you start doubting and you're like, is this good? Should I? If you just like let it all go and keep going, um, I swear, I wish I could just like, I've gotten to the point now where I just like, I wake up like so early and I'm like, I just want to write, 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 you know? But it really is that connection. I have to ask, like, do you meditate? Do you or no?
Yeah. Yeah, okay, meditation is not my favorite activity for mindset. I have to be completely honest there. I'm like one of those a minute a day people where I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
I've quieted my mind, it's rebooted. I'm gonna move on to. Sometimes I try for longer, but it's not one of my favorite parts. But I've got a very strict morning routine
Mhm.
where it's wake up, it's gratitude, it's visualization, it's affirmations, and then I read my personal development, and then I exercise, and all of this happens before I do any kind of work so that my mindset's
Mhm.
100% where it needs to be. And I think that's so crucial. I know once I got into law of attraction and mindset on a daily basis, everything changed, and it's the
Mhm.
energy is different and what you attract is different. And even if you've got like something crappy happens, you don't live in that crappy moment
Mhm.
beyond the moment. You take the time and awareness to go, you know what, this isn't serving me, I'm gonna move on. So I really
Yeah.
think that's a part of it. And you're right, there's always naysayers. And I think that's a big reason why we need to surround ourselves with really positive and uplifting people. And luckily, again, with the internet and Facebook, we have the ability to reach people all around the world who are on the same wavelength. So it's not like we have to rely on these close friends and family. I mean, sometimes our friends and family are not the most positive people.
I know. I know. And you know, it's just different when you connect with people that are in alignment and they're on like they're literally doing what you're doing. It's so different. And that's okay. Like it's okay if like friends and family like they don't get what you're doing. You just stay true to like where you want to go, right? And you'll just and the people will come to you. But let's talk about your your course so people understand you know like what it is and what they'll get from it. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, this course, like you said, it covers everything. I mean, we really go from start to finish.
Mhm.
And I think that's one of the best parts about this is it's not like half a course and then it's like, okay, go figure out that other part by yourself. Um, we really like to work through everything. So we take, day one, it's like, let's develop your concept. Let's get into that. Let's get into structure. Let's figure out how to write it. And then once you get writing, how do you make that a habit? I'm the habit queen. It's show up every day no matter what. Like it's one of the things that I think is the biggest attestament to success is show up every day. Doesn't matter if it's 5 minutes, if you're sick or something like that, like just show up for 5 minutes because it keeps your head in the game. I think one of the biggest things when we're writing a book is it's a big freaking thing to write. You can't memorize that. It was funny after I'd published um, my first sci-fi book. I had posted like something about like reading and coffee right now, and I had a picture of my book, and they're like, "You wrote it, don't you know the story?" And I'm like, "Dude, this sucker's 500 pages long. I don't remember everything. Like I've read it
Right.
several times through. I don't remember it all. Like, come on now. Do you remember Lord of the Rings when you've read it through? Probably not every little detail." so so on that wavelength, keeping, you're writing a book, there's so many aspects to it that if you take a day off or 2 days off or a week off of writing it,
Mhm.
you're like, crap, what have I already written? You just don't remember. Even if you've taken notes, and I try and take notes of the important stuff, but it is so hard to keep that straight if you break it up. And you show up 30 minutes a day every day, you've got a done book in 3 to 6 months. End of story. I don't care how long the book is, it's going to be done by 6 months, even if it's a big sucker. So this is one of the things where, again, it's success, it's getting it done, it's having timelines, it's meeting goals. Um, I've gone on a tangent here again. Okay, so we talk about goals, we talk about showing up every day, we talk about getting past writer's block and how do you do that, and then we talk about getting it prepped for publication. So this is all the stuff that's required, like how do you get a book cover that's really engaging, because people really
Mhm.
do judge a book by its cover. I'll be honest here. And
Yes.
we talk about the copyright and how do you do the formatting so that it's proper for the book publication. So it'll actually go through both on Kindle, and it's different for Kindle than it is to do the paperback. Um, just a lot of these little nitty gritty detail things
Mhm.
that most people don't know how to do. And then how do you actually go through the publication process online? We go through step by step by step how to do that. And then literally like the second half of the course, a week and a half, is strictly marketing, because there's so many aspects to the marketing. There's so many different avenues. We talk about libraries, we talk about getting book signings, we talk about getting into the newspaper, we talk about pay-per-click advertising, we talk about how to do your audiobook. We really like hit so many different things. And I think that's something that's really exciting is when you have a marketing plan that's that expansive, you can't fail. You really can't. You are getting your book in front of everybody. And that's something that's really huge. It's exposure, it's getting out there. So really, I mean, it is an encompassed course, and it is one of those things where it's, we're covering in 3 weeks what you do in 6 months. I mean, this is an accelerated course. We just cover
Yeah.
so much information. Yeah.
It is intensive, but it's like, gosh, it's like so much value. I mean, the money, it's a small investment for the value that you're getting, really. Like, so it is like, so yes, you have a private Facebook group and every day. So it's like 21 days of, every day you go live, you do whatever, like the lesson or whatever we're learning for the day. And then you also add in. So what I did was I copied like all the content and I put them into docs and I like printed them out so I have them. And then because there's so much, like I'm not there yet, but it was really great to like just to be able to see the whole process through of what I'm gonna have to do. Um,
Yeah.
because it's a lot.
No.
It's not like so typically you would get overwhelmed and shut down. You would be like, this is a lot, or you'd pay someone so much money and then you wouldn't have that, and you really wouldn't be doing all the parts that you can. What I love about it too is that a lot of it is like you can do on your own. If you're tech savvy and you can do social media and things like that, you can do it. I mean, I tried to hire like someone to do my book cover, right, on Fiverr, and they were ridiculous. I was like going back and forth, wasting all this time. I'm like, you know what? I'm just, no, thank you. I feel like I could do it. And maybe I think I just wasn't really ready for that because I'm still really in the writing process. But um, let me see. I'm trying to see like comments if anybody has a question. So when does it start? When does the course start?
The next course is it's actually starting next Monday. So that's
Okay.
the 15th. So yeah, we're coming up to it very quickly. And I'm always so excited when one's about to start because I'm like, people's lives are gonna change. It's so exciting. It's so empowering. I think for me too, I'm one of those people where I'm like, I want to know what's next so
Mhm.
that I'm prepared. Which is I think why I'm like I'm so love the accelerated course, because then I'm like, okay, I know what's coming and then I can plan. And it makes me feel so much better. But yeah, we're starting next Monday, and I think you put it in the or the text of this post here. For anybody who signs up, and message me and say JZ10, I'm giving 10% off up until 8 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. So, get into this course. It's something that's going to be really life changing. It's going to be something that gives you all of the skills to get your book out. And on top of that, I'm such a big believer in having passive income streams. And, for
Mhm.
the average person, they don't. get a book out there, get the book royalties coming in. Having a book out there is going to teach you so many marketing skills that are also transferable to other businesses. Yeah, like there's a lot of value here beyond the book, and I think that's something that's really exciting.
Mhm.
And you can also cover your book expenses. We'll talk briefly in the course about this too. Selling ad spots at the back of your book. I mean, there's like, if you've got a topic where you can find other businesses that are in alignment with that, it's such a great pairing. So there's just a lot you can do to make this something that makes you a lot of money. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? I want to mention because you just did. So I saw this and then I haven't read it all. It's really good. I'm like, it's just like so in alignment with what all that I do anyway. So anything on manifesting, I'm going to want to read. You just came out with another, I'm sorry, I forget the title. Is it Manifesting Money? Yes or no?
Yeah, I've got it next to me here. Yeah, this just came. Oh, there, my camera. There we go. Just came
There we
out
go.
like a week and a half ago. So yeah, manifesting money.
Yay.
Yay!
So you can get that on Amazon, right? Like I got it as like a what do you call it? Like an ebook. What is it called? Why am I drawing a blank?
Yeah, you can do Kindle ebooks.
Kindle, yeah.
Kindle, yeah, Kindle's the way to go. And the other thing that's really interesting with Amazon is now that they've got like Kindle Unlimited, there's just so many ways to check out different books, which is really nice.
Hmm. Awesome. So if you have any questions, reach out to me or, friend Amanda, or comment on this video. If you're catching the replay, do a hashtag replay so then we can answer any questions you have. And then you can also, I highly recommend, I'm saying this again for you, if you have any inkling of wanting to write a book, to take this course. What I loved about it too is that it really allowed me to get realistic with a timeline and making the commitment and taking the daily action. Because it's one thing, like I said, I told you last summer I'm writing a book, but then like I mean, I require a coach. I'm a coach, but I also require a coach because it's that accountability that's going to be like, okay, I'm doing this. I'm going to put it in my calendar. And I'm such a planner and a scheduler too, like being a teacher, that it was helpful. And then, and actually recently I found that like I have to dial it down because I had a date that I wanted the book done, and it's just, I have to just do one chapter a week. You know what I mean? So you also, through the process, I feel like, okay, I'm just going to stay in the flow and take the action and not become overwhelmed, because then that's not going to do any good for my book. But yeah, it's been amazing, and so many so many little tidbits that are going to make things so much easier. Really, like I didn't even fully grasp all of it. Like I have to go back and like as you go through, that's what's awesome, because you can then still have the content because you have access to a closed group. So you're going to be able to like go back and so yeah. So thank you for getting on. And yeah, take advantage. So it's till, so what is it with 10% off? It's for the course, the amount.
I probably should have done the math before I came on, but it's the course is normally 295,
Oh,
and
right. So
10%
that would
off
be
would be
like
$29
29.
off. Yeah, like I don't have a calculator in front of me, and I'm not as good
Oh
at
my
math as I used
gosh,
to be in my
it's so
head.
horrible. By this time of night, like I literally can't think. Okay. It's like 266 or something, whatever. It's something like that.
Yeah.
It's minimal. I mean, that's like it's like such a small investment that's gonna like make a huge impact on your ability to write a book. So like if you are committed to it, jump on it. And then we can all be published authors and be celebrating. So excited. Like seriously, I really think it's like such a thing for a lot of people. I feel like a lot of people have a story to tell, that like
Yeah.
is almost just healing for their life.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, like there's something about like no matter what the topic is, it's a therapeutic process to be able to write and talk about it, and
Mhm.
especially if it is in a self-help or nonfiction where we're talking about our lives and our stories. There's so much room for growth and healing in that arena. And I mean, everybody's got a story to tell. And I think the other thing that's important here, since we are entrepreneurs, is talking about like, you get a book out and it actually helps your business grow.
Yeah.
In two ways, your current clients are going to want to buy your book, so like, boom, easy sales. But in the other way is that when you get readers and they find you and they love your vibe, then they're going to seek you out for your other business. And it's your book. You can advertise your business at the back of the book when you got the about the author. So like there's so many different cross ways for a book
Mm-hmm.
to give you credibility, and people want you for speaking engagements after that because you become an expert in your field when you put out a book. That's that, like instantly it's recognized, you get recognized like that.
Hmm.
um and it's a weird thing at first, because you're like, oh okay. But then you're like, okay, well, I did write a freaking book about it, so I guess, okay, I'll take it. um
Well, you know what?
I'm such a oh, go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry. Sorry. You know what's interesting is, and I didn't think about it like this because I'm an empowerment coach. We have a similar background. Your health and wellness also, right? You did that first, and so did I. And then, but my passion was really like empowering people and making changes, and also the mindset, the law of attraction. And honestly, like I'm one person. So even if I were to have a thriving coaching business and I coach people all day, you're not going to reach the same amount of people that you could with a book. And it's the same thing, like, so either books lead to then speaking engagement and you're reaching a bigger audience. You're making a bigger impact and you're spreading your message in a much bigger way. So it's so awesome. I'm so excited. And thank you for all of sharing all of your knowledge because I really learned so much. And now, it's a ripple effect, right? You did it. Now you're passing it on and then so on and so on. So it's awesome. So thank
Yeah,
you again for coming on.
thank you for having me. This was so fun.
Yes, it was. So stay tuned because I bought like the domain name Transformation Tuesdays. Okay. So I am going to be putting this on my website. So then, yes, so it'll be good. Yay. All right. So
Yeah.
again, if you get on, you watch this later, do a hashtag replay, ask any questions, and we'll go back and check the comments and definitely take advantage. You have 24 hours, commit, and you're not going to be sorry. It's like best money spent. Okay. And have a beautiful night. What is it? It's Tuesday. I feel like it's way later in the week. All right. Bye. Let me see.